What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Zoids vs. One. Alright, so now we finished the Helic Republic campaign. We're going to be moving on to the Gylos Empire one, as per usual with these games. As you saw in Zoids Battle Legends, and then as I said before, vs. 3 had just one long campaign that did not pick a side like this. You played as some new characters that were introduced for vs. 3, and you interacted with some of the characters from the Fuzor's continuity. You never interact with any of the anime characters in the campaigns of the previous two games. They're strictly brand new characters. So we're going to be playing as on the Republic side, we played as the Blue Unicorn unit, which is sort of like a Special Forces unit for the Helic Republic, and now we're playing as a similar unit for the Gylos Empire called Rottiger. So you'll hear me refer to those names. Again, all of this is available in the English translated version of Versus 2's campaign. But I really was not in the right mindset when I made that Let's Play way back in the day, and I probably should have dived more into the story with that and extrapolated on some of those key plot points. Names, locations, characters, things like that. But it was just such a poor localization and translation. I just didn't really want to give it the time of day, unfortunately. But now I'm remotely interested in it, so maybe I'll replay Battle Legends one day and kind of see if the story is actually any good, because I can actually read it, unlike in this game and in Versus 3. Anyway, so we have another training mission this time, 2 Zoids with no real ranged weapons, just to give you like a sparring match, I guess. So instead of a Gojolus, we're up against the Genosaur, and this Genosaur has no weapons, so it's much easier to fight. It only relies on its melee attack, although its melee attack can be quite devastating, as I've established. So we have a Rev Raptor here, which again only has missiles for its ranged attack, but it also has this counter scythe, which is its budget version of the blades that the Blade Liger has. And as you can see, very, very effective. I'm going to continue to use the Rev Raptor a little bit because in terms of design, I really do like this Zoid. It's sort of like a light scout or special operations Zoid used by the Empire. It's not really a infantry Zoid. It doesn't see a whole lot of direct combat. It's usually for cloak and dagger type missions and saboteur missions. But it's very, very effective, although it is quite small and fragile. But it can take out Zoids much larger than it if it needs to, but they usually, as the name Raptor would suggest, it usually gather up in large numbers to take on larger Zoids. So pretty nimble, pretty mobile. It's got that one booster, like ion booster in the back. And I tried to equip it with a different weapon here, so now we have the POW bunker attached to it, which, if you guys remember from the Zoids vs. 3 Let's Play, I demonstrated to quite significant success there. Now we're going to be up against some actual Helic Republic Zoids, such as this Cannon Tortoise. Again, the Cannon Tortoise I demonstrated at the beginning of the game. It is a lightweight artillery Zoid, similar in purpose to the Rev Raptor, I guess you could say. Again, I'm being inconvenienced by the terrible camera by trying to line up the front of the Zoid in front of the Cannon Tortoise to use the pile bunker, and it's not really working too well. There's also a double pile banker thing, which is really bizarre. So I tried to use it. It wasn't all that effective. So I'm just going to be switching to the counter scythe again, and that's going to be easily able to take out this Command Wolf, which has only like 1,000 health. So this game, more than any of the other games in the series, messes with what you call what the standard health would be for any of these Zoids, and makes it some arbitrary number. Like it really changes it from either what it started out to be really low or really high. You never know what you're going to get in terms of your opponents. And like I said, I almost feel like that's because the game knows that the controls are not good compared to the later games in the series. So we're playing as Max right now. Max, again, is an older guy who is, he's got some decent stats in the later games. He's one of the seasoned members of Rottiger. We're going to be switching over to Kuki, who is a character I've referenced before, and so I'm switching over as well to one of the Zoids we also had available at the beginning of this campaign along with the Rev Raptor, which is as you can see, the Saber Tiger. And I'm equipping the Saber Tiger with all the subparts we have available, as well as the dual, what do you call that? Pulse cannon, that's it, the pulse rifle, which is, again, the famous weapon of the Genosaur and is a very effective weapon, although it can run out of ammo pretty easily. But this is a pretty great combination, the Pulse Cannon and the Saber Tiger, and it's definitely not a combination I have shown off before, so I'm really looking forward to this. We did just unlock two new Zoids when we started this particular fight, but we don't need to show those off quite yet because we're still up against pretty easy opponents. Whoa! And that gun sniper just glitzed through the floor. This game is very stable. Anyway, so yeah, right now we're still dealing with gun snipers and other small Zoids, and they're going to be very easily taken out by this Pulse Cannon. This Pulse Cannon is very powerful, and they only have what appears to be like 700 health. Like, it's barely anything. And again, the other two Zoids we unlocked were the Lightning Sykes and the Red Horn, which are both very good. And we're really just kind of unlocking all the great Empire Zoids right off the bat here in this campaign, even just as much so, if not more so, than the Republic campaign. And we are just blitzing through these battles really quick. And we unlocked the Genosaur. Wow, that was fast. Again, I don't want to downplay the usefulness of this Saber Tiger, especially with this weapon combination. And I may even go back to use it in the future. When the hell did we unlock that Mulga? Like I'm going to use a Mulga after I have a Rev Raptor and a friggin' Saber Tiger available. Again, it would have made more sense if they had given you like the Rev Raptor and the Mulga at the beginning, or like the Mulga and the Sea Striker, like something really bad. I don't think the Sea Striker is actually even in this game now that I think about it. Sea Striker is also referred to as the Sinker in Japanese, if I haven't said so before. So, let's go ahead and break out one of my all-time favorite Zoids. This is the Lightning Sykes, and as some of you know and have actually complained about, I tend to abuse this Zoid quite a bit. You know, some people say, oh, you say you're going to show off as many Zoids as you can, but you end up just defaulting to the Blade Liger and the Lightning Sykes, which are your two favorites. And that is true, but in this game, I'm definitely not going to be using the Lightning Sykes a whole lot. It is technically the same as it is in the later games, but because of the crap camera, and it actually has a really awful turning circle in this game, it's damn near impossible to slow down your momentum to line up your shots and do any real damage to Zoids that are highly mobile. So I'm not really going to be using it a whole lot at all. But I'm definitely demonstrating it here against this fight, which is against the Salamandra Zoid, which is essentially a large Terrace. Now, a little bit of history about this guy. Now, he is a Republic Zoid, I guess you could say, in this instance, where he may be part of the Terrorgeist faction. I'm actually probably a Terrorgeist Zoid. The Terrorgeist group is the like terrorist organization that Zeru guy, or that guard guy, is a part of. So they are the ones that are trying to bring back the Death Sword and things like that. So the model kit for this guy has actually been around since the 80s. It was one of the very original Zoids that came out after the initial line of the little tiny wind-up ones. He was one of the bigger motorized ones that came out for the comic book series and everything like that. Like, he's one of those. And back then, he was called Krark, the Prince of Darkness. And he was a pretty pivotal Zoid in the comic book story, the original Zoid story. So I have a newfound... I never used to like the design, and I was like, well, this is kind of a random Zoid, you know, the Salamander. It's a big Terrace, essentially, a big pterodactyl. But, like, where does he fit in with the story? Because he didn't appear in any of the anime series, any of them. And I, you know, never saw a model of this guy in person. But, yeah, he has origins that are deep-rooted in the origins of Zoids itself, as Krark, the Prince of Darkness. So he was I think he was a blue Zoid, and then he was also a red Zoid, and I think when his red form is when he's referred to as Krark, the Prince of Darkness. And there's also a blue and red variant of the Terrace as well. That obviously, you know, you have the blue Zoids were essentially the normal inhabitants of the Z moon where the Zoids came from, and the red Zoids were mutants essentially. So they had some kind of mutation or infection that took over them, turned them red, and they joined this sort of hive mind horde type thing, and their leader was Redhorn. Redhorn the Terrible, funny enough. So Redhorn is another Zoid that's been around since the 80s, and actually I do have the model kit for the Redhorn. I have the one that I have is actually the Hasbro one that came out in like 2002, and I've had him that long. I finally did a video on him. If you guys want to see that, I think it's the same video I did with the D-Bison. But the original, it's the exact same model kit, has remained unchanged except for some slight coloration differences. And frankly, the 80s version looks cooler because it's a brighter red and it has a lot of chrome on it. Of course, that was never available here in the US. That was like a UK and Japan thing, really. But yeah, so we're going to be using the Redhorn here. And again, you would think that's a huge step down in terms of technology from the Lightning Sykes, which is true. But in terms of firepower, the Redhorn is definitely going to make up for that. So a couple missiles flying overhead there that we're not even really worried about. We should be able to take out these enemy Zoids pretty easily. So I equipped him with a couple of extra weapons, including a beam launcher, which is very powerful. Again, it really does weigh him down a lot, though, as I've shown off before. Other than that, we have the 3-barrel linear launcher and the 2-barrel... whoa! Holy crap! Oh, Jesus. I forgot the Death Stinger was in this battle, so we gotta hurry up and do something about that. I was like, we're just fighting Mulgas here. What could possibly go wrong? And then the Death Stinger shows up. So yeah, we'll be doing something about that. Yeah, the 3-barrel linear launcher, and then the other thing, the other twin-barrel cannon that shoots the red projectiles that I can never name what its actual name is, but I keep referring to it all the time. Because it's really good, and a lot of the Redhorn's weapons are really good. Thankfully, this version of the Death Stinger only has like 4,000 health, so we won't have to fight him all the way down from 9,000, which would be incredibly dangerous. We managed to defeat him pretty easily, which is good. If we had to, he probably would have easily killed us due to our lack of mobility, and the fact that the Death Stinger doesn't really stop and trigger its attacks when it does in the later games. It just sort of walks all over you in this game. I also switched over to Claudia, who's probably who we're going to be playing as for the rest of the Rottiger campaign. She's probably my favorite Rottiger character in terms of design. She is decently well-drawn and attractive, so we'll go with that. And we'll probably bring back the Redhorn a little bit. They really do make a much more significant difference between the Redhorn and Darkhorn in this game, although the anime doesn't really drag that much attention to it, because you do see the Redhorn first, but the Darkhorn is still a pretty standard fare when it comes to the bulk of the higher end of the Gylos Empire's army. So we are going to switch over to the Genosaur, though, and take out the Death Stinger again. This time around, he has like 6,000 health, which is a little bit more problematic, and he got some good hits on us with his his tail cannon there. And as you can see right here, this is what I was talking about, where he just kind of tries to run you over. I'm just barely fast enough to avoid him, and if I can keep this cycle going, I should be able to damage him pretty good. Oh, look at this! You spin me right round, baby, right round. This is the most ridiculous thing I've done in this entire series, aside from jumping over that stupid wall in Versus 2. And you guys will never let me live that down, I'm sure. So we may just have just enough health to take this guy out before he kills us, because one more direct hit from his main body and we'll probably get taken out. That or the charged particle beam. That would be really bad. Alright, not bad. No, we didn't equip any boosters on the Genosaur, so that was kind of sloppy on our part, but that weapon more than makes up for it.